A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3. Oh, excommunication when you think they would be hating, but there ain't no debating, there's still common ground.
Watching movies and some streaming with your ex, it's so redeeming. They're both pretty snarky, it's about to go down. It's a girl from California and a man about town.
On excommunication. Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. Excommunication. Better than masturbation. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. People are already tuning out.
It could be called the 60/40 podcast because that has been confirmed now by AI that the last episode was 60/40 weighted in your favor. And
we
it's our
should talk about
ages.
that.
We should have called that would have been a cute name for a podcast, 60/40.
AI is incredible. We can agree on that.
Yes.
It is amazing that basically, if you didn't listen to episode number 4, there was some feedback that perhaps I was dominating the conversation. And come to find out, I uploaded the transcript of the show, and it was indeed confirmed to the exact word that I spoke 60% of the time, while Melissa spoke 40%. And while that's not too egregious, it's also suboptimal because, of course, I want to be respectful of you and your opinions. So I humbly apologize. And this episode, I'm sure you will have more words and it will be closer to 50-50. But I think we should do this exercise anyway, just to see if it is borne out by the data, the metrics.
Well, in your defense, it wasn't as dramatic as I thought. I would have guessed 65-35, 70-30. And I was a little cringe on the Stranger Things episode. If you put that one in, I think I would be weighted more. So as far as my word count, so.
Well, let's do that.
Fair enough.
And this episode, I think we should be more equal because the two films we will be discussing are One Battle After Another, and the other would be that other one.
I keep wanting to call it Two Trains. Why do I want to call it Two Trains?
I don't know. I've been running trains for some time now.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I haven't had any dreams about it. But before we get started on the movie part, there's something topical at the moment we're recording this episode. I don't know when people will be watching it, if they will, or listening to it. I'm still not even sure we're doing video. I think we are. I don't know. Today, viewership will fall off a cliff because you're not wearing anything particularly revealing. But I think we should talk about the incident at the BAFTAs. The BAFTAs, of course, are the British version of the Oscars. And did you want to do a recap or should I? I don't want to sound like I'm dominating, but I did pull up the...
Well, at least, as you pointed out, I'm wearing a T-shirt. If people are just listening to the audio, it's irrelevant. But now, at least, if people do agree with my opinions and my critiques, then you can't say, well, it's because I don't have your hot takes on display.
No, I think that's true. Well, I mean, this is a societal thing too. It's like somebody with a lot of cleavage, they're just more interesting. Like there's people on TikTok, they're complete idiots, but they're attractive. So they have these massive followings. Like I think the top 2 TikTok influencers are just like attractive women. And they're vacuous. It doesn't really matter. But I've always thought that your intellect far outweighed your other assets.
And feel free to bring the sex appeal this episode. I will concede.
This episode's going to be extra short because I don't really know why anybody's here right now. But anyway, so at the BAFTAs, there was an incident where a racial slur was shouted out. Typically, that would be awkward, but it's complicated because, well, it's still awkward. So there's gentleman, John Davidson, who was the subject of a film called I Swear about Tourette syndrome, yells out the N word with hard R, which would be horrible anytime. But it just so happened that Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage at that very moment. So they appeared to be the subjects of this outburst, this tick. So what do you think, Melissa? I'm going to hand the mic to you so that you can get your 48% in.
Well, I think it's a little murky. We are dealing with a disability, and it's a disability that is not on display. It's not a blind person with a cane. It's not someone with a wheelchair. So right off the bat, that kind of complicates matters. I think that, we can't necessarily place the blame on the person with the disability. I know there's been some discourse online about whether people really understand what Tourette's is and, what it does to the brain, and whether, people are trying to argue, well, I know someone with Tourette's and they don't say that word, or so it's kind of, getting into these murky waters. But I think at the end of the day, it is on the BAFTAs. And they, I think, had a responsibility to maybe make sure that even if he was going to have these outbursts, they weren't going to be audible. They weren't going to be able to be heard by not only the people presenting, but also the audience. And I know we kind of had this discussion earlier where that again creates a complication where it's taking someone with a disability and then kind of taking away from their experience of putting them in the back of a theater. But I think in this situation, that would have been the move. I think the benefits of that would outweigh the risks. And as we saw, the worst possible thing that could have happened. And I felt so bad for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. And they just looked shocked and kind of not knowing how to proceed. And they, of course, handled it like pros. But yeah, I think it was just not a good move. And I think that this is going to maybe just haunt the BAFTAs moving forward. This is something that I don't think they're going to be able to recover from very quickly.
Oh, good. Some things we can disagree about. So,
Of
um,
course.
the news cycle is maybe 72 hours, so it's already forgotten about. But
To you, not
it
to the
brings
African
up,
American community. But anyways, go
well,
on.
I consider myself African American. So let's just say that right up front. I have a lot of the attributes
Yeah,
of an
you're
African
Tupac.
American man. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm wearing you on my shirt, actually.
Yes, I'm actually like 4 Pac. I'm so much more Pac than 2. Uh, so do you think it's insensitive for me to say that if you're going to have someone with Tourette's at an award ceremony that's being broadcast, if you think they're going to say something, anything at all out loud, that you can put like a sock in their mouth? Does that seem insensitive to a Tourette sufferer? Because in my world, I'm like, having Tourette's doesn't get you off the hook for just shouting random racist bullshit. If that word is not in your vocabulary, you're not going to shout it out. Every word that a person with Tourette's shouts is a word they know and understand and have probably used. So I'm not saying this guy with Tourette's is racist, but it was absolutely irresponsible to have this individual in a crowd during a broadcast with a known problem of shouting things out. Like, it doesn't get you off the hook for anything. You need to take responsibility for yourself, for your own actions. If you have a disability where you shout things out, you don't put yourself in this situation. It doesn't matter if there's a movie about you. You need to shut the fuck up, and you need to sit in a part of the room where you can cover your mouth or do what you need to do to muffle your outbursts. And if that's insensitive to someone with Tourette's, I don't give a crap. Because you know what I'm more sensitive to is in the middle of a ceremony honoring a movie. We have mixed reviews about Sinners, but it's a movie that talks about oppression, racism. It's the theme of the movie. And you have 2 people from that movie on stage having to endure a white guy shouting the most racist thing out randomly. And at the quietest time possible, the applause dies down, they're not talking, and that's the moment. And to make it worse, so I'm big on, like, don't try to polish a turd, because this was a turd. BAFTA, they decided to broadcast that outburst,
That's another
which
thing.
I think was a big mistake, because that was the moment where you could go, look, you bleep other things. Why wouldn't you bleep that and let people deal with it after the fact? You're going to broadcast it, and now every African American in your audience and any intelligent, sensitive person in your audience is going to hear this racially offensive term shouted out. So I blame everybody involved except the two guys on stage who are just like, we're just presenting. We're not here to like.
Wait,
And
but you agree with me then? Everything you said mirrors what I said, that it's essentially on the BAFTAs. I mean,
it
yeah.
is, but how about the individual? How
Oh,
about
okay.
their friends and colleagues, other
True.
people
You
from
have
the
a point.
film, telling him, you don't get, you know what? You don't get to be equal. You're not equal. A person in a wheelchair can't climb stairs. That's just a fact of life. So you accommodate as much as you can, but you also realize there are limitations, and trying to make the world even, Steven, for everybody because you've got a disability is unrealistic.
How close was he
I
to
have
the stage? Do we know?
The what?
How close he was to the stage? Was he like third row, second row,
I don't know. In
middle?
a quiet room, if you shout anything, the audio is going to probably pick it up.
True.
So it's just, you're recording like the ambient sound, but it sounded like he was fairly close because it was very clear. And a lot of these ballrooms, it's kind of it's this kind of it screws with your perception, because you think they're these massive ballrooms, but like I used to do the Writers Guild Awards at the Beverly Hilton, and it maybe
Ooh,
had a
who's
capacity
pretentious
of
now?
500 or 600 people, but nobody was more than 30 or 40 feet away from the stage. Like they're relatively small room. The probably the biggest one is the one for the Oscars, and I have no idea how they get every famous star in the first 5 rows, but for the most part, nobody's too far away from the stage. And obviously the audio recording equipment is very sensitive. But even if they hadn't been able to pick it up on the audio, you've still got people in this room that deserve to not hear this racist expletive
terrible.
slur shouted out. Like, you have to, and I understand, like, it's got to be rough to. And by the way, everybody thinks Tourette's, this shouting out thing, is part of Tourette's. It's not. It's like 10% of people who have Tourette's have this particular ailment where you start shouting things out just randomly. So it's a fraction of a fraction. I kind of want to watch the movie that that's talking about this syndrome, because I don't know that much about it. But what I do know is somebody next to him was very capable of putting their hand up and covering this guy's mouth, or he should have done it to himself. Have a napkin at the ready and muffle your screams. Be courteous, but abide by societal norms, even if you have an ailment like that. That's my 2 cents.
I agree. And they're saying that the person responsible hasn't apologized or issued a statement. And I think the actor might have spoken on his behalf. And again, he was also not apologetic and kind of flipped it to this is a disability that we need to show compassion for.
It's tics. Calling it a tick is so dismissive of the offending action.
I agree.
Like calling it just like, it's just like saying the B word or the
F word. It's not.
like the F word. And you know what? Yelling out the F word in a ceremony like that is also offensive. Will Smith did it, and he was like, and he slapped a guy, but
he was ticking.
Didn't he say it? I think he said the F word, didn't he? It's like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Well,
I think so.
Somebody stuff a sock in his mouth too. They should just have socks as the centerpiece on these tables.
I'm sure people would say that about you, but
we'll just the sock I use is busy downstairs. Hello. Okay,
for all the trains that you pull.
Oh, you pull them? I thought you ran them. Oh man, I messed that joke up.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Excommunication podcast. This is our 5th episode. This is Melissa Vegas. My name is Scott Robin. we are going to. We haven't dropped any of the episodes yet, but ooh, your camera's going
yeah,
nutso.
that's
Oh,
weird.
nice. Oh, that's cool.
Is it? Oh, wow. You know what I thought would be kind of like a funny bit if once F1 starts being built, if I start putting little pieces of foil on my background, like where the grandstands would go, just to like block out.
Covering up the fountains.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
good.
it's like kind of how they start over here, and kind of just to get the full
What is
experience.
happening with your camera?
I don't
The
know.
people listening to this are gonna be annoyed that we have to deal with this, but
I
can you
know.
touch what kind of camera? Is it like a detachable thing? Like,
No,
hit it or something.
it's attachable.
Smack it.
I don't want to stand up.
Can you, like, unplug it and plug it back in or something?
There, I think that fixed it.
See, now the shorts are gonna get us some views.
Oh
Thank you.
gosh. I was trying to be taken seriously for my art.
Ew. Okay,
Ew.
now do we wanna talk about Train Dreams, which was a train wreck, or do we wanna talk about One Batter Out? Let's talk about Train Dreams first, because I'm pretty sure nobody's seen it, so it's we can get it out of the way pretty quickly. Would you like to start, milady?
Wow. Well, I think this is so gentlemanly. But then there's another part of me that's like, are you letting me speak so then you can kind of negate what I'm saying and bounce ideas off what I already said? But anyways, I will take the opportunity to lead.
Why do you hate men? We should talk more about why you hate men.
No, I don't. I don't hate men at all. I'm doing a podcast with a man. Why would I be doing a podcast if I hated men?
Okay.
If it didn't involve
So
promoting
anyway,
myself.
there's this
Anyways,
dipshit in Train Dreams. He's a lunkhead. He's got 2 brain cells. We're watching this movie for 2 hours with this lunkhead, no ambition, nothing special about him, nothing likable about him. He does nothing for over like it's got to be an hour and a half easily. It's like watching paint dry. And so nothing happens. So there's no plot to discuss. The characters are boring. Nobody's likable, except the trees. The trees are wonderful. It's a wonderful homage to trees. How does a movie like this get into Best Picture eligibility? It's just okay. That's my review.
wow, that was short and sweet.
I'm gonna say 1 snark out of 5.
Okay, it's snarks. That's our rating system.
I don't know. We haven't picked one yet.
Okay, so this is a movie that when I watched it initially, I agree. I thought I would have been shocked if I didn't know and someone told me that this is nominated for Best Picture and some other Oscars, I think cinematography. Well, that one I could see. But to me, it felt like so first of all, the narration it made it seem like one of those, and I told you this, it was like a PBS docudrama where they're kind of reenacting a period of history, and the acting's kind of spotty, but it's just kind of like teaching you about that time period. And also, when I went to screenwriting classes, which I know you're going to say it makes me sound pretentious whenever I bring this up, but that I was taught that having a narrator is lazy writing and it's
Correct.
amateurish, and because you should have your characters and the plot moving the story forward instead of someone announcing, okay, and here's now the steam engines or the steam trains being invented. Have your characters talk about it, right? So that to me, yeah, it felt very amateurish. It made it feel like I said, just like something you'd see on Lifetime. But with that being said, as I kind of sat with the movie, I started liking it more. And I agree, I don't think it has a story, but that's the story. I think that it has no story. So what do you feel about that? The plot is that there's no plot. We're being dropped into the life of an average person that living their lifespan at that period in history and what that experience was like. And it is the experience of the average person. And as much as we're so accustomed to seeing action and these heightened realities, that's not the experience of the everyday person. And so that's the mission that this movie is trying to accomplish. And I like the themes about nature and how, it's all kind of interconnected, and just kind of seeing the changes happening throughout history and the American landscape. And I thought there were a lot of parallels to modern day life. Like, for example, like he's using a handsaw. He's a lumberjack, right? He's using a handsaw in the beginning of the movie. And then it's like a time lapse. And then he's a decade older. And then the introduction of the chainsaw. So to me, that was kind of a metaphor for going from like CGI to AI and what we're experiencing. And then he quits being a lumberjack and he can't find work. So he starts driving a horse and carriage through town as like a taxi service. And I'm like, oh, it's like he's driving Uber. Like he couldn't find work. So he's an Uber. He's an old timey Uber driver. So it did kind of feel like it was like I could see the reflection of modern life through a historical time period. And so yeah, like I said, as I kind of sat and thought about it and thought about these scenes, I started enjoying it a little more. So what? I'm trying to find the positive. It was beautifully shot. Again, you're going to make fun of me because I was going off about how I thought Sinners had great cinematography and CGI, but I love seeing the landscape of, I think it was shot in like Washington State. Oh, the beauty of nature. Oh, the commercialization of natural resources. We saw that happening where they're chopping down all the trees. And, they have a conversation with William H. Macy's character when he says, like a tree is a life, like just like how every person represents a life. Are you awake? Hello? Is this thing on? Every tree represents a life. Doesn't that speak to you?
If you have to try to make a movie, like if you have to go to that much effort to make a movie worth watching, is it really worth watching? Like, oh my God. I mean, I guess you could extract that from it, but it's like watching moss grow on a log.
That's
That
life.
and trying to go, you know what? That's life. No, but that's not a story. That's not a movie.
The
That's just
story is
a lot of people live their lives in quiet desperation, in anonymity, never having done anything extraordinary. That's not movies. That's not a book. That's not a poem. That's not anything. There's nothing there that makes it worth turning it into a movie.
wife dies. He has to overcome his grief. So it's kind of it's a different movie to different people. I saw people saying they really connected with that part of it, him trying to overcome his wife's death and trying to find his own meaning in life when he was not born into wealth and he doesn't have all these connections and he has to find a way and support himself and find a purpose. So
You know what I'm mourning?
I'm going to give it.
I am mourning the death of movies. Because if this movie is up for Best Picture, if Sinners is up for Best Picture, if One Battle After Another is up for Best Picture, that means there's no good movies left.
I didn't say it was worthy of Best Picture.
Right. There are none. None of the movies I've seen. I'm trying to see them all because I might see one that's a good movie. Paul Thomas Anderson accepted his award for One Battle After Another at the BAFTAs. And he's like, anybody who says movies aren't good anymore, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, your movie is an example of how movies aren't good anymore. You just won frickin' you're a movie's winning awards, and it's just
and people are mad.
I'm so mad
because
I'm mad.
He was asked about kind of to speak on the political undertones of the movie, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not really into politics, or that's not my thing." And people are saying,
Wow.
"You made a movie screaming about all the issues that we're facing in the political landscape in America," and then it's like, "No, I'm about the art. I'm not really. I'm not about that life."
I don't know what they're about. And same with this movie. Like, what are you about? You're making some statement about nature, but you're doing it in a way that's you're making people endure your movie. That's the statement that you're making, is like, let's see if people will endure this crap.
And I didn't like how they didn't age him. He looked the exact same age at 20 and 80. So they made no effort. It kind of took me out of it because it is supposed to be we're traveling with him throughout his life. And they never even, like, I think they just put a little bit of like gray hair, but he doesn't look aged at all.
I'll bet you on this that they win for best makeup.
Really?
because other than Lockjaw and his scarring at the end of one battle after another, I haven't seen any big
Wait, are you
makeup.
talking about one battle, or you're talking about the train dreams?
Yeah, I mean, how many snarks do you give it?
Well, how about I am going to pick an actor that I find very desirable, and then that will be my rating system. It'll be a different one every time. It'll be, I'll give it 2 Jason Momoas
No. Oh my God,
to run a train.
I saw a movie with him and that other guy, oh man, I hate what's
That
his
other
name? The
guy.
bald-headed guy of
The bald-headed guy.
Guardians
The
of the
Rock?
Galaxy. Um, good God.
Guardians of the
It
Gal
was the
Oh.
wrecking it was called the Wrecking Crew.
Oh,
I
I've seen the advertisement for that, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the other
Okay.
guy's name? He's Batista.
Batista. Dave
Yeah.
Batista?
Uh, yeah, Dave Batista. Two uh, Dave Batista looked like a Shakespearean actor next to this Jason Momoa
He has
idiot.
dad bod now.
It was the worst. I I guess this whole podcast, we need to alternate episodes. We need to find something good next time. So let's do Night of the Seven Kingdoms next time. Because I need something to love set against all the things I hate. And there's so many more that I hate. Jason Momoa could not act his way out of a volcano.
He started
He's
on
so
Baywatch.
bad.
He's hunky. We needed another person in addition to The Rock, because I mean, The Rock he's nice looking, but he wasn't as heartthrobby. So we just were kind of running low on action stars. But
You know what?
Jason Statham, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg took the place of Bruce Willis because we
Oh,
needed like
good
the
God.
average guy. So
No.
we just kind of put
No,
these
Bruce
guys
Willis had talent and he was funny and had charisma.
right. It's just an
So
example.
I give Jason Momoa 0 Jason Momoas, and I give Train Dreams 0 snarks. 0.
Wow.
That means it is of no value to any human being. It's not even worth hating. It's so boring and it's such a waste of time.
2
So
Momoas for me out of 5.
2.
2.
Ooh,
That's like
okay.
a D, right? Or yeah, that's
Well,
like
we
a
need to get
D minus D.
we need a few more episodes with you to get a sense of your scale, because it's like the one bite everybody knows the rules guy. He'll give a pizza place 8.2, and they go nuts because on his scale he's maybe given a 9 like 3
But you're not
times.
allowed to do 0, I think, because like if you go on any app and you want to rate a restaurant or anything, a movie, a podcast, you have to at least pick 1 star. So
Okay,
I
so
don't think 0 is
I'm
enough.
going -1 snarks on Train
-1.
Dreams. -1. Now,
Wow.
let's move on to One Battle After Another. This, of course, is a movie from Leonardo DiCaprio. This is a well-known actor. Sean Penn, also a well-known actor. Tiana Taylor, never heard of her. Benicio del Toro is in the mix as well. And some other people, of course, Jungle Pussy, who I'm pretty sure used her actual name on the screen during the movie. So, again, I would defer to you, Your Majesty. I just watched this again last night, which I could not believe I was watching it again. Do you know why I watched it? For you.
So you
Because I
was to
thought
compete
you were
with
going to be
me.
showing a little more cleavage this episode, and now I'm even more upset that I watched this stupid movie again. So please go ahead.
Okay,
What
I
are
will
your
go
thoughts? Wait, let's
first.
just have a normal conversation. We won't do our diatribe thing. Because I think
Diatribe
that'll
thing.
help balance okay. So I thought it was
Oh
fine.
wait, no, I was gonna go first this time. Why are you going first?
No, that was it. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I like the world that Paul Thomas Anderson, is that his name? Yeah.
Yes.
Paul Thomas Anderson built. It's kind of an exaggerated high-end reality, I feel like, of our current landscape in our country. It's an exaggerated version of you see this kind of militia revolutionary group rallying against corporate greed, banks, fascism, anti-abortion, immigration, all these things that are just very inflammatory in our country right now. So I thought it was very, kind of topical, and that interested me at first. I thought, oh, okay, cool. This is going to be like a commentary on what's happening in our lives right now. So I thought it was a good setup for like an action dystopian movie. But come to find out, it's classified as a dark comedy. And I kind of had this critique on Weapons where I felt like it was tonally off. So then the comedy just shows up in Act 2. So yeah, it's set up as this kind of like dystopian drama. And then there's Sean Penn's character comes into play. And then Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter gets kidnapped by him. Anyways, I don't want to give too much away. I feel like everything we do is like spoiler alert. But
No, because the expectation is that people will have seen it before we talk about it.
Okay, but without getting into the story, I'll just say that in Act 2, it's a buddy cop comedy with Benicio del Toro and Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like falling over into bushes, and they're in a car chase scene, and Leonardo's getting high, and it's like Cheech and Chong, and it just felt off to me. And it felt like, okay, this again wasn't kind of the setup or what the expectation was when I first watched the inciting incident. And so it felt off. Act 3 was a little bit better. It kind of went back to the action, and I liked the car scene. But now getting into the story, I didn't really care for the story. I didn't feel like the characters were fully fleshed out. I think Sean Penn's character is kind of this supposed to be exaggerated MAGA type. That's his role. It kind of worked for him because, he's a good actor. And I think that character, it kind of, again, provided a reality, exaggerated reality of what we're currently experiencing. But I didn't care about the characters. I didn't really care about the daughter getting kidnapped. I felt the acting was a little over the top. Of course, when you have big stars and a famous writer-director, no one's really doing a lot of editing or direction. So yeah, I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio is now just this like frazzled middle-aged guy in every movie. And it felt off for me. And I feel like I didn't care about the story. So when you don't care about the story, I stopped caring about the world and any kind of commentary that he was making. So I felt that was a little rambly, but
No, that you hit a lot of great points, and weirdly, I agree with a lot of them.
wow. Okay, now I'm glad that I
Because
rambled.
the characters were not likable, and I'm starting to see this as a theme in some of the movies that we've seen recently, is that there's no reason to care about the character. There's no reason to root for the character. You're literally just being asked because of your goodwill toward Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor, I guess, to somehow be rooting for a terrorist. His nutty girlfriend, kind of not attractive, not charming, not smart, not
Doesn't have
anything.
anything to do with anything.
What do you mean?
Like her being attractive, what is like that's
Because it's a movie. You
it's
need
not a
a leading
rom-com.
actress who's attractive.
It's not a rom-com.
It's part of the deal. You don't just throw somebody in there. No, like, and poorly written, like you said. So no real character development. She gets pregnant and abandons the kid. She sleeps with Lockjaw randomly. No explanation of why that's happening on her end at all. Lockjaw, and they're making up this organization, this Christmas adventure organization. Like, it's so far-fetched that you just check out. Like, I don't, and of course, the daughter knows like karate, so she can use it later. It's all these like very amateurish screenwriting devices. It's a world that you just don't, you don't have anybody to root for. Because if you're rooting for a terrorist, you're already messed up. Like, of course, we don't want this young woman to be killed because she had the misfortune of being apparently the result of a reverse rape. Like,
when you
I
say
know
terrorist, I'm not following that because they're like supposed to be
terrorists,
revolutionary freedom militia.
Terrorists. They're blowing things up. That's their whole MO in the beginning. They're robbing a bank. They're basically like
they're not really like harming people. That's why when Tiana Taylor's character, I think, shoots that
The
guard in the
bank guard,
bank,
yeah.
that kind of like, then she's kind of viewed as a loose cannon and they
But they're
kind of shun
setting off
her a little bit.
bombs in buildings. So there's victims of
Well, they don't show
explosions
that until that
typically.
scene, but yeah, I guess
Yeah,
they
so
are
they're
obviously using
terrorists, they're
violence.
domestic terrorists who have this noble cause, but they're also committing crimes. They're committing acts of terrorism. And so once again, Leonardo DiCaprio, not a bright, his character's not smart. He's stoned, he's drinking, he can't remember the secret words, the passwords, and all
Yeah,
this
that
stuff.
bit went on way too long.
There's nothing to like about him. And you lose your lead actress a third of the way into the movie. She abandons her child and just disappears until a letter at the end. Like, this is a Best Picture nominee. It violates every rule of good writing, good filmmaking. Like, there's just certain things that the boxes are not being checked. And we're so desperate for entertainment. This is somehow because Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. I mean, I do agree that we should try to be fair and balanced and look for the good things in these. Like, I thought it was a very cool effect, the direction of once the chase is on and Leonardo DiCaprio is chasing what the vehicle he thinks his daughter's in or whatever. They're going over these roads, right? And when the girl escapes, they're going over these roads. And it was a very interesting visual effect to be going over these roads and kind of how you lose your sense of distance between the next hump in the road. It's not a movie. It's not a story. It's not a plot. It's not anything. It's just, oh, that's a cool shot. So I don't know. Does that balance out all the stuff that you don't care about? No. There's a random bounty hunter who gives his life for no reason whatsoever, other than that he's like, oh, that young woman's in
The
peril.
daughter needs to get away. That's
Yeah,
why he gives his life.
yeah, and he brought the girl there, so he's complicit in it, and now he's suddenly gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go shoot some random guys who didn't do anything to him, really haven't done anything to her." He's murdering people for just sitting there and, like, being in like, Lockjaw's the technically the villain who gets gassed at the end. Spoiler alert, like, his own organization turns on him.
I thought it was flimsy too, the whole setup of the daughter getting kidnapped, and because that's the
Exactly.
whole crux of the movie, right? Because then
Yep,
Leonardo DiCaprio has to go chase after his daughter because Lockjaw is wanting to join this Christmas club, which again is this kind of caricature, cartoonish version of like white
the
supremacists.
Klan or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And
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 so
this guy, this lifelong patriot, this guy in the military is gonna give up he's gonna murder his own daughter because he
to
wants to be
cover it
part
up.
of the Klan. Like, there's just nothing. It's Sean Penn did a great job. How about that? There's a
He did.
positive aspect.
And let me
He
just touch on that. I
had
didn't
some behavior that he put into it with his mouth, and, like, he had
physical.
and his walk and his, like, he definitely became this character, and
So
so that's worthy of an award nomination.
I don't feel that that was too far-fetched. I do feel like when people feel like their status is threatened or they're trying to elevate their status, I do think they would be willing to kill, especially to cover up or to, get what they need. And especially he wasn't attached to this daughter and he kind of saw her as a hindrance. But I just thought the whole premise was flimsy because she was living off grid with her dad, Leonardo. There was no indication that this would ever be found out. And so then he goes to these like great lengths. I mean, I guess maybe it's just showing his desperation, but to me, it seemed like there was no indication that they were going to like pop back up and they were going to threaten this entrance into this organization he wanted. They were just kind of doing their thing laying low. So, like, why rock the boat? And then he's constructing this huge operation in the town that they're in under this cover up that they're trying to, I guess, hunt down drug lords or immigrants, which again was topical. So I kind of saw what he was doing with that. But again, it made no sense in the story. So then I stopped caring about the story. And then that's kind of where it fell flat for me.
Yeah. There were a lot of things that were very implausible. This guy just takes his whole military unit on this personal vendetta chase, and none of the guys are like, are we dealing with immigration right now? Because
Well, I
we're
mean,
not.
that's an allegory for what's happening now. That's what a lot of people are thinking. Why ICE is in Portland and Minnesota and these places where it's very obviously, politically fueled, or there's other ulterior motives people believe for why they're there, even though it's under the guise of, we gotta hunt these, drug lords that are just, hanging out at the coffee shop in Portland.
I
That was
guess.
my take.
Well, that just leads to another implausibility that these white nationalists would decide to murder a perfectly good white guy for potentially having a mixed race daughter. Like, you're gonna murder something? Why don't you just like reject his membership? It's so stupid. And they're gonna
And again,
murder her.
it was
Like, come on.
too exaggerated. Exactly like you said. It was just, I mean, we have to suspend disbelief a little bit, and it does have to be kind of beyond our reality for us to buy into the world. But it was so out there that it took me out of it.
And I can't believe anybody called it a dark comedy.
The dark comedy,
Like,
yeah.
seriously?
Mhm.
It wasn't that dark, and there was no comedy.
Oh, well,
So-
Leonardo, falling all over himself and doing like somersaults in his bathrobe apparently was the comedy.
And the
I
wearing of the
guess.
bathrobe the whole time, like, it just felt so. Everybody's just trying so hard to make sense of it. They're so enamored with the director, and they're so enamored with Leonardo DiCaprio. Nobody's saying no to Leonardo DiCaprio wanting to wear a robe for 80% of the movie, even though it made 0 sense. It wasn't like he was naked and had a robe on. He was fully clothed and had a robe and just kept wearing the robe throughout the whole thing.
It's just a bloated production. That's what it felt like to me. It's like I said, it's a well-known director. It's like these A-list actors. No one is saying no thanks, I'm full. It's just like everyone's just, it's over the top. And so when you don't have someone able to come in and take direction, edit, this is what you get. It's just, a little pretentious.
Exactly.
And it felt like one more thing. It felt like the dialogue felt off to me because I felt like this is a person of privilege writing what they think like a revolutionary militia, these kind of like underground people, these rugged people, like how they would speak. The dialogue felt a little off to me too.
Right. Poorly written. Who wrote it?
Thomas Anderson.
He did?
I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, because he's like one of those writer-director types.
Writer-director, yeah.
With Thomas Pynchon. Who apparently, Inherent Vice. So he hasn't done anything.
Oh, there's like a co-writer? Oh, wait, he didn't write it, or he did?
He did
Thomas
with
Anderson.
this guy, Thomas
okay.
Pynchon. Unless it was like an adaptation or something, maybe. I don't know. IMDb
it was.
is
Yeah, it was
useless.
a book that I guess, and of course I should know. I should practice what I preach and should have done more research. But
Thank you. I have it up and I still don't know.
okay.
By the way, this movie gets a 7.7 on user reviews, one battle after another. That's terrible. That's the real story. Not that the movie gets made because you've got a major star in it. Not that but the issue is, how does it get nominated for Best Picture?
Well,
The
there's
Secret
so many.
Agent, Marty Supreme, F1, Frankenstein, One Battle, Begonia, Train Dreams, Sinners, Hamnet, Sentimental Value.
Didn't you say back in your day that'd be less nominees? Is this a new thing to have? This feels new to have so many movies nominated.
It was 5. Part of the problem, I think, was there were commercial successes that were 1,000 times, like, without exaggeration, 100 times more successful than the Best Best Picture winner, and there was this feeling like all the Best Picture nominees were falling into kind of the same category of film. So you would never see a Frankenstein, you would never see an F1, you would never see a you would see a Train Dreams, you would never see a Sinners. It's a vampire movie. Like, there were certain kinds of movies that just were being excluded. And I've always felt that way about the Oscars when it comes to comedies. Like, comedies have really been screwed over, and I have a personal blog that I never update, but I actually went through like 25 years where there were very obvious comedies that should have won Best Picture, but because they're seen as frivolous, the Academy just did not give them that award. So I think the decision to expand it to 10, and they don't have to do 10. It's like up to 10. If it gets a certain number of votes, they're in. But and it gives a chance for some of those independent movies that maybe don't get the exposure to get in there, because it really does boost their visibility when they get nominated or when they win. But prestige kind of movies with big name actors they're always like Marty Supreme. That was always going to be nominated just because Timothée Chalamet kept saying how
Your favorite.
hard he worked. So of course that was going to get nominated. No idea how Begonia's in there, but
I have Emma
it's just
Stone
bleak.
fatigue.
Yeah,
Good
at
actress,
least
but
it
she's in
had
every
some
movie.
aliens in it.
She's
Good, thank
ugly in
God.
every movie. I told you this. Her brand is
Oh
now
my God, that's horrible.
I'm gonna be
I thought
no, she's a gorgeous
visual
woman,
appeal
but
was
her brand is
oh,
movie ugly because she's gonna look like an
movie
alien with
ugly.
a bald head and like milky skin, and then she's gonna show up at the awards looking gorgeous and dazzling. But every movie now, she's disgustingly ugly, so she could get her next Oscar.
Well, I find that very sexist, and
Why is it sexist?
I don't even look at a woman's appearance. So there's people who
Okay,
are
how many
colorblind.
Momoas are you giving? Speaking of
I'm beauty
appearance,
blind.
how many Momoas are you giving
No
one battle?
woman has ever looked good with short hair. Universally true. Emma Stone, I'm sure she's lovely,
Now that's
flat-chested,
sexist.
but very, sure, very attractive to some people.
She has long hair
Bald,
now, I think.
0. Demi Moore, fine-looking woman, used to be during her peak,
She's still really beautiful.
but now, if she's
What
in a bald movie, G.I. Jane, not so much. What other actresses? Here's a fun pop quiz. We should do this as a segment
bald
in our
actresses?
which actresses have been bald in a popular movies.
Oh gosh. That's the only 2 I can think of is Emma Stone and Demi Moore.
Well, there had to be some cancer movies in the mix.
That's what my mind went
Some
to.
chemo
I'm like,
chemo
Lorenzo's
movies.
Oil? No, that was about a little boy though.
Oh, we forgot Charlize Theron,
Charlize Theron,
Mad Max
Mad Max.
movie.
Yeah.
There have been others that are kind of like they could be an alien that's bald or whatever. I don't really think that should count. What about wasn't 11 bald in her little TV
11, yeah, she
show?
was a child, so you said women, but yeah, she was shaved head, yeah, as 11.
There
You're
was
cheating, by the way. You're looking it up on the internet.
well, because I couldn't think of these off the top of my head, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I
But
lost
the woman in World War Z, one of my favorite movies, Daniela Cortez, she was the Israeli soldier, and she not bald but very short cropped hair. But what I'm saying is if we do this as like a quiz portion of the show, we would obviously look this up before we're on recording.
Well,
And there's
I have a
wait,
migraine,
we have to be diverse here.
what?
In this movie, which was Black Panther, Denai Guerrera, she was bald.
Nice. Like I said, I have a migraine, so I'm just letting you
What?
Do your thing. I'm like an injured gazelle right now, so I'm too
Well,
weak
let's
to
wrap it
fight
up.
back because I'm like, I don't know. It's this whole bald quiz. Cute idea.
Thank you. And it also further proves, if you look at all these beautiful women bald, none of them are attractive when bald. So,
Right. And we know that you guys are so picky about who you guys are sexually attracted to. So picky. That's why you can't, or people have their qualms about hiring male workers in funeral homes because of the hair issue.
what the heck?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Too many bald women. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
In funeral homes, they're reluctant to hire men
Correct.
because of bald actresses?
No, because of the proclivity to have a certain attraction to people there.
What does that have to do with hair?
That I'm just saying that some guys just aren't that picky, that they will take a bald-headed woman
Oh,
any day
okay.
of the
So
week.
it's not that there are more bald women in funeral homes
No,
being abused.
I was just
Do
trying
you
to
think
create a diversion
Okay,
so we could end
do
the
you
show.
really believe that they're not hiring men for funeral homes because they're afraid the
No,
men
they
are
just
going to have
prefer
sex with corpses?
yes, they prefer women. I'm not saying they don't because mostly it's probably men that work in the funeral home industry, but yeah, if
Correct.
they had a preference, if they had a choice, even if the woman maybe wasn't even as qualified, I think they would pick the woman because there's less risk of things
Of
happening.
a man having sex with a corpse.
Correct. Look it up.
I mean, is it a hot corpse? We're talking, you have
That's
to
what I'm
be a
saying. She has
very
hair, so it's
exceptional corpse.
okay.
Uh,
Because of all the
oh, and we're,
bald-headed women, men have to resort to fucking corpses because at least they still have their hair.
my mom might listen to this
Oh my god.
podcast.
You said fuck F1 on the documentary, so
That
yeah,
was
you
not this
say it
podcast.
when it's
This was going to be
advantageous.
suitable for children until that point.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, lovely chatting with you as always.
Always.
A successful 5 episodes. I think we're going to drop all 5 now. I think we're going to do video. That'll be a hoot. I'm sorry that the camera's so close to my face. We're still working out some
Sorry,
of the
we're a
technical
teacher,
issues.
even though, and I actually doing this on the last episode was probably not a good idea because the people will probably watch in order of the most recent. So, but like I said, now you can't say that people are only watching for other reasons.
Well, that's the only reason I'm watching.
Well, I know that's the only reason you're doing this, but as long as I can
Oh,
get some
now you
benefit
okay,
and free
now
promo,
now we have to get into it. So
we're at 52 minutes.
you're suspicious that I'm doing a podcast. I'm devoting my time and creativity to accomplish what?
You tell me.
I'm
I talked about
not.
my motivation on episode 1. I don't really think you talked about yours.
What was yours?
That I'm exploring whether I want to be a content creator in kind of the pop culture sphere, and I felt like I didn't get to fully finish what I started in Vegas, so I'm giving it another go.
Well,
Maybe I
this
will
is
return to Vegas
content.
content one day. I don't know.
This is content, and you're creating it for sure. You could inherit the Vital Vegas brand. You have to fight Corey Levitan for it. He is the heir apparent, but I
Why
hope to
Corey?
retire any day. I'm sorry?
Why is Corey the heir?
Because when he writes, he can be funny. And I think humor is an important
You've
aspect of the
got to be
brand.
kidding me. You literally were saying how funny I am as a writer and how
No,
much
you're
you
very
respect my
funny.
writing. So then why not me and why Corey?
No, I said you have to fight with Corey, who is already an independent contractor working with
Oh,
casino.org,
fine. All right.
the
Well,
website
I like
that
Corey.
owns Vital Vegas. So he might have his foot in the door a little
No,
bit
that's
since
okay.
he's been writing
69
for
jokes aren't
them
really
for
my thing.
5 years.
69
What
jokes
jokes?
aren't really my thing, so
Well,
I'll concede. Corey can have it.
Give it a minute, because next episode you're pretty much guaranteed to make a 69 joke.
We'll see
You're
about
not
that.
above good, clean
Good,
69
clean.
jokes.
My mom is going to listen, and then, yeah, it's going to be a 69 joke to open.
All
the next
right,
episode.
Melissa.
All right,
It's
Scott girl.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Thanks for listening, watching, liking, subscribing. What else are people supposed to do? I always hear podcasters like and subscribe and go to our Patreon. We're not doing Patreon. It's so freaking annoying. We're not going to have ads. We're just going to suffer and squalor.
What do you mean? If people want to tip us, then I love tips. As do you, right? You love tips.
Yeah, you're like, 69 jokes I would never do, but I love tips. That was like a 90-second turnaround between indignation and embracing
when
immature...
it benefits me, or when I'm the one making the joke, then that's okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. We will see you next time on the
60/40.
on the 60/40 podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.